The year was 1943, and the coast of Norway was a jagged world of black rock and emerald water. Tucked deep inside a mist-covered inlet lay base Trident, a secret submarine pens carved directly into the granite heart of a mountain. Lieutenant Commander Silas Vane stood on the narrow concrete walkway, the air around him cold, damp, and smelling of diesel and ancient stone. Above him, hundreds of feet of solid rock provided the only protection against the Allied bombers that prowled the skies. For the crew of the U-boat U-402, this wasn't just a harbor. It was a cathedral of steel. Life at Base Trident was lived in the shadows. Because the base was carved into the mountain, the men lost track of day and night. The only clock was the rhythmic thrum of the massive ventilation fans and the glowing amber lights of the control room. The sailors lived in cramped barracks tucked into the rock walls, their bunks stacked 4 high. To pass the time, they carved small figures from driftwood or played chess on boards made of scrap metal. There was a strange, heavy brotherhood here, a bond formed in the pressurized silence of the deep sea and the cold shadows of the mountain. One evening, the heavy blast doors of the pen began to groan open. A thick, icy fog rolled in from the sea, filling the cavern with a ghostly white haze. The orders had come. A high-stakes patrol in the North Atlantic. The base erupted into a frenzy of quiet activity. Cranes groaned as they lowered torpedoes into the open hatches, and the clank-clank of boots on metal ladders echoed through the cavern like a drumbeat. Marcus watched his crew board, their faces pale under the flickering electric lights. They knew that once they left the mountain, the ocean would be their only home. The departure was a haunting sight. The U-boat slipped into the water, its black hull disappearing into the fog like a shark fading into the depths. There were no cheers, no bands playing, just the low, guttural growl of the diesel engines reflecting off the stone walls. As the submarine passed the outer net defenses, the base fell back into its watchful silence. The ground crew stood on the pier, watching the ripples in the water until the last traces of the boat were gone. Now, the long wait began. For weeks, Base Trident held its breath. Every crackle of the radio was a heartbeat. Then, finally, the signal came. Returning home. When the U-402 finally drifted back into the stone cradle of the mountain, her hull was scarred and her crew was exhausted, but the Bastion had held. Silas Vane watched as the massive doors closed, sealing them once again in their granite sanctuary.